Hello and welcome to another episode of Mocha Latte After Dark. I'm your host, JJ Fitzgerald, and today's topic is suicide loss survivors, you're not alone. As some of you may or may not know, my ex-husband and the father of my two children committed suicide years ago. And of course, it was a huge tragedy in our lives, and really still is. It's still very surreal to me that he is not here. He's not here to see the monumental moments and the special times happening in my children's lives. And I'm not going to lie, I still get angry. I try to exercise compassion and say, well, he was very depressed. But then that other part of me says, but you had children. Was there not a single moment that you thought about them? And not just your children, but other people who loved you dearly, your family, your friends. For some reason, it's really starting to bother me again. And I don't know if it's because my children are full adults now. They were 14 and 15 when it happened. And so they're doing things in their adult lives that he should be here to witness those things. Like my daughter moving out. She should not have had to build her couch by herself because you're not here to help her. She should not have had to gather people to help her move into her place because you're not here. You should have been here to help her. You're not here to guide our son into manhood. He hasn't had a father figure since you've been gone. There have been many times that he's come to me asking me men things. And I don't know what to say because I'm not a man. Every time I look at his ashes, I feel a moment of sadness, and then sometimes that sadness turns into anger again. And then I ask myself, what was the real reason? Was it because you weren't 300 pounds of muscle anymore? Because that defined you? Was it because your financials were not where they used to be? Now, granted, he did have an opioid addiction, but he was contemplating suicide for 17 years before he actually did it, when he was 300 pounds of muscle and when he did have money. So I'm just trying to figure out what was the nail in the coffin. And unfortunately, he didn't leave a note behind. So it's all these unanswered questions that I have to ask myself. Our children ask themselves. I just want to say to all the suicide loss survivors out there, if you're going through this, it's okay. It's normal. Even to this day, I still hold guilt as well. If only I'd been nicer the last time he visited. If only I'd checked on him after he visited. If only I did this. If only I did that. But the bottom line is, once someone decides that they're going to take their own life, there's really nothing that you can do about it. Now, if I could only believe that. We had plans on him getting a surgery he needed, going through rehab, and moving to where me and my kids are, so he could be closer to them. And right after he died, his surgery got approved. I think about if he had held on, just held on a little longer, where he'd be now. It's just so tragic and so sad. And my heart breaks for my children, mostly. My son and I were at Costco the other day, and he looked at me and said, I remember the times that I used to go to Costco with Dad, and it was so much fun. I really miss those times. And my heart broke again. As a parent, you don't want to see your children go through pain, especially pain that you can't fix. And no matter how old they get, that never changes. I just pray that God will just continue to give me the strength and give my children the strength to cope. I don't think we'll ever heal completely. And I will say that it has gotten easier, but sometimes you just get hit with the reality that the person is not there anymore and that they made that decision. It wasn't a situation where it was an accident or, say, an illness, because it's mental illness. But I do pray for strength. I pray for compassion. I pray for understanding. I pray to be delivered of the anger and the guilt and just all the negative feelings that I have towards him for leaving his kids and for not thinking about the impact that it would have on them. If I didn't have Jesus, we'd be a complete and utter mess. He gave us the strength to keep going and keep moving forward in life. I'm so proud of my children because despite all of this, they still get up every day and go to work and have become such beautiful human beings who care about people. But things could have gone left if not for Christ. For those of you who have lost someone to suicide, I hope that you will not beat yourself up, not blame yourself, and just try to find the best way to cope and move forward in life. We can't go back in the past and unsay our words that you may have felt triggered someone to do what they did. We cannot go back and check on the person the way we wish we had. All we can do is feel what we feel that emotion, and if it is a negative emotion, work through it and try to find some positivity. But I truly understand where you are. Thank you for listening to another episode of Mocha Latte After Dark. I am your host, JJ Fitzgerald, and as always, be true.